everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm sharing one of the first layouts for my health and wellness journal that I'm setting up. I'm using an Archer and Olive A5 Neapolitan notebook, and I'm super excited because I've decided to split up my health and wellness sections based on the color of the pages. So my white pages will be for my personal development, the craft pages will be for meal planning and healthy eating, and the black pages will be my workout and things related to physical health. So one of the first wellness layouts that I'm doing is my Enneagram personality test. I'm not big on personality tests, to be honest. I find some of them to be very hokey and a little bit ridiculous, but I found the Enneagram test to be really interesting and fairly accurate, which was surprising to me. But what it is, it's a personality system that aims to reveal how emotions drive our lives and how we engage with others in an effort to get what we want and need. So it defines 9 personality types, and each personality type has its own set of strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities for personal growth. So that's what really drew me to this, was the personal growth aspect. Now, there are a number of websites where you can do this test. Honestly, I just Googled Enneagram Test and picked the first one that came up, which was truity.com. You get a summary of your personality traits, and then for $20 US, you can get the full report. Now, I chose to do the full report, and that's what you see me create here. I'm putting together the summary of my Enneagram scores. So it shows how I scored for each of the 9 types of Enneagram. This shows up as a percentage so that it's relatively easy to understand. You do need to spend some time and read the entire report before you start getting either excited or worked up about your results, because the report works as a whole. Now, as you can see, I've stamped out heart type, head type, and body type. Now, the 9 types of the Enneagram are commonly divided into these 3 groups, and these groups are considered to be driven by a particular center of intelligence and a particular core emotion. So the body types are driven by instinct and are tuned into their 5 senses as a primary means of gathering information. They often feel their emotions and reactions and have a gut sense for things. These are 8, 9, and 1. The next type are head types. They are driven by intellect and tend to analyze and rationalize their emotions. They make choices and evaluations based on their logical analysis and interpretation of things. They are prone to overthinking. Their core emotion is fear. Now, the Enneagrams in this group are 5, 6, and 7. The final group is heart type, which you can see that I fall into this group. They are driven by their emotions and their desire to connect with other people. They're driven by a strong sense of empathy and their sense of what people are experiencing, both themselves and others. The core emotion is sadness, which originates from a sense of disconnection with self or others. The Enneagrams associated with heart type are 2s, 3s, and 4s. Now, my primary trait is a 3, which I had a 98% match. Then I had a 2 at a 91% match and a 4 at an 88% match. And these numbers, as you will see, become important later on. Now, in terms of my primary type, they give an in-depth summary of what it all means. And so it discusses strengths and challenges that my personality type tends to have, which is what you see me jotting down here. Now, what I write in my bullet journal is just a summary of what was given in the report. So there's more, but I just needed somewhere to summarize and reference as I go. The report also discusses my core weaknesses, my core beliefs, my core fears, my core desire, and my core traits as well. They go into the emotional life, childhood origins, in relationships, and at work sections as well with regards to my personality. I didn't feel the need to include these in my summary just because there wasn't really much to take from it. I know about my emotional life. I know about my childhood. I work for myself. so it wasn't critical for me to include these in my summary. One thing I left out was the spectrum of health, which talks about my personality traits when I am stressed, feeling average, or thriving. Again, I have the report to revert back to, so I didn't feel the need to include those. I did want to talk about the transformations. So transformations is essential to the Enneagram idea of growth and movement. So it says, rather than being locked into a static personality type, the Enneagram shows how you can shift and change both under stress and in times of expansion and growth. So I thought this was really cool because the ways our personality undergo transformation is through wings and arrows. So each Enneagram personality type is considered to have two potential wings. They are the types which are adjacent to your primary type. So for me, that's a 2 and a 4. For most people, the primary type explains the core of their behavior, while the wing drives the secondary aspects of who they are. So learning about your wings will help you to understand your personality more in depth. They're also a way to think about development. So the first goal in studying Enneagram is to always understand ourselves as we are. And the secondary goal is to understand how to move out of our patterns so that we may become more well-rounded, adaptable, and effective as people. Basically, wings can help us to understand who we are, but they can also help us to see new behaviors that we might experiment with in order to grow and develop. Basically, it says that if there are some aspects of who I am that doesn't seem to fit in with my primary type, then understanding my wings might explain why. So if I look at the score of my 2 wing, I'm at a 91%. So as per the Enneagram and the description they give, this is where my development is heading in, and I could possibly spend more time looking at my 4 traits and working on those. The report also breaks down how the 2 wing and the 4 wing contributes to my personality, which I thought was really great, and does give a summary of what that means for my primary personality trait as a whole. So the second aspect of transforming involves arrows. They represent a path to development. Each Enneagram type is connected to 2 other types in the diagram, and each connection is marked with an arrow in a particular direction. I kind of struggled trying to grasp the idea of this, so I actually spent a bit more time trying to figure this out. And they can be thought of as pointing in the direction of growth. So one arrow points towards your primary type, indicating that you must grow from this development point, and the other arrow points away, indicating that you will grow toward this development point. So as per the report, 6 is my origin point, and 9 is the point that I'm moving towards. The report's really great because it does outline tasks for your development through both points, which is what you saw me summarize on the previous page. The report ends by pointing towards a path to grow. So it gave me some growth tasks for my personality type, which was really great. And then it also talks about your superpowers and your blind spots. And what I liked about this was it took things and kind of put a more positive spin on it. For example, my primary personality superpower is ambition, which was a score of 19 out of 20. And I liked it because ambition is not always looked at in a positive light, but this said it is positive so long as you avoid X factors, which I thought was really great. So I summarized those, my superpowers and my blind spots, which you will see me put together now. And then on the Dutch door in the middle where I had moving forward, that's where I jotted down my growth tasks that I can work on and look at in terms of personal development. Now, of course, all of this gets taken with a grain of salt, and I'm not going to be following this to the letter. I just thought it was interesting to see, having been under quarantine, or I guess the pandemic for the last year, it just kind of makes you think. And I've learned some stuff about myself that I'm really interested in exploring more. So that's why I put this journal together, and that's why I'm including these journal spots. I know I've done a health and wellness journal before, but I felt like it was only scratching the surface, and I wanted to include something that was more in depth, more meaningful, and just to help me improve where I'm at with exercise and diet, or I don't even want to say diet, but with eating healthier, and then also figuring things out for myself in terms of my personality and my sticking points. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you can, try it out and see. It's not going to hurt. Some parts of the report were hard to read, I will say that. But looking at the report as a whole was, like I said, really, really interesting. And I'm excited to take some of these ideas and concepts that were introduced to me and run with it. I'm actually considering even talking to a psychologist to kind of get at the root of some of this. I'll be sharing my health and wellness journal throughout my channel, whether it be setups on YouTube or my finished layouts on Instagram. So if you're curious how I'm using this and what I'm using this for, you can check out those channels and this one and my Instagram. And you can stay up to date and feel free to ask me any questions. Why is a big one. I'm really trying to be more open about what I'm going through and how I'm trying to get through it. So thank you so much for watching today. I always appreciate it. If you're curious how this is going to unfold, you can like and subscribe and see what I get up to. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.